Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Today in this video I'm going to be giving you guys my top 5 protein sources that I'd recommend you guys to include within your diet when it comes to if you want to get lean or if you want to get shredded as well. So stay tuned. But before I give you the 5 protein sources, let me just tell you guys that I'd recommend you guys to go for the lean protein sources so that you can focus on getting your fats. I recommend having most of your protein sources from the lean ones, so your white fish, which I will list within this video. But the reason why you want to focus on the lean protein sources is because firstly it's lower in calories. Yeah, for the protein wise, it's lower in calories, and secondly, so you can focus on getting your fats from the nuts, the olives, all of these things, instead of having like fatty proteins, because it will make it harder for you to. It will make it harder. Like, I'm not saying obviously you can still have fatty protein sources, and have these proper like fat sources like the nuts, olives, olive oil, all of that stuff, but you'll end up having more of those. Peanut butter, nuts, dark chocolate, all of those stuff. You'll end up having more of those if you focus more on the lean protein sources. But anyways, let's just start the 5 protein sources. So the first one would definitely be eggs, and this is not a lean protein source, but it still must be included within your diet. And why is that? Because it's one of the most nutrient-dense foods in the world. It's got all of the vitamins in the world apart from vitamin C, and helps to increase your testosterone levels. And it's just so good for you, and it helps to keep you full as well, because from the fats from the yolk as well. It's just very nutrient dense. So that's my first protein source I recommend you guys to include within your diet, especially when you're trying to get lean as well. And the second one would be, I'd say tuna. Tuna or like white fish, but I'd recommend going for the tuna. It's just because it's easier to prepare it, and it takes less time for it to prepare. And yeah, tuna I'd recommend. But when you get the tuna, I'd recommend don't get it from the sunflower oil, because it just adds more fats, and sunflower oil is not very healthy. It's just seed oil, so obviously it's not going to be really healthy for you. It's not going to be that good for you. But so I'd recommend getting it either from the water or getting it in brine. I personally get it from in brine, but you can either one, doesn't matter to be honest, because they're both very low in calories. And it's a very, very good lean protein source as well to have. And yeah, that's the second one. And the third one would be Greek yogurt, but ideally I'll go for the 0% fat one, even though it's not as good as the full fat or 5%, 10% fat Greek yogurt. And it's just because like I said from earlier in this video, let's say if you're making a Greek yogurt bowl, if you make it with full fat Greek yogurt, then it's going to make it harder for you to add other fat sources onto it. But if you just use 0% fat Greek yogurt, firstly it's higher in protein, and secondly you can just add more other fat sources from it, so that you can still be able to get those healthy fats in, even though you're using a 0% fat yogurt. Now the fourth protein source I'd recommend you guys to have is chicken breast. And do I even need to explain this one? Because this one is not the most nutrient dense food out here, but it does the job. It's very high in protein. It's a very lean protein source. It's very low in calories, and there's so many different ways of making the chicken breast. You can make it with rice. You can make it with the wrap. You can make it with potatoes. I recommend to include chicken breast within your diet, even though it's not really doesn't have the best nutrients in it compared to, which is the fifth one, which is beef mince. Beef mince, I feel like, is a must when it comes to including it within your diet, whether it's 10% fat, 20% fat, 5% fat. But I personally went for the 5% fat, because like again, you can save more of those fats from the other fat sources of the dark chocolate, the olives, nuts, peanut butter, whichever one it may be. But yeah, beef mince is way more it's so much better for you, and you know it's rich in B vitamins, rich in iron. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's rich in iron. You know, high in zinc, high in zinc as well. Not too high, but it has some zinc in it as well. Depending on obviously how much, well, depending on the fat percentage that you get. But I'd recommend getting a 95% lean one because you know it's lower in calories as well. But yeah, beef mince is a very, very good protein source, and I recommend you guys to have that within your diet as well, especially within your cut as well. But yeah, those are my 5 protein sources that I recommend you guys to have, to include that within your diet. But yeah, if you want more information on how to get lean, then click the 12 to 50% body fat link guide down in the description below this video. If not, the fact that you watched this video is good enough for me. And thanks for watching as always. I'll see you lot in the next one.